Before we dive into the specifics of what I believe is the most dangerous fitness fad in 2024, I want to make something very clear. I'm not saying if you do this, you are going to die. I'm not saying if you do this, you are going to get cancer. I'm not saying if you do this, you are going to have a heart attack. I don't think making bold, definitive claims like that is accurate, and I think it does more harm than good. I'm not making this video to scare you. I'm making this video to inform you, and quite frankly, I'm making this video because I see a lot of people blindly following this fad because self-proclaimed experts online are telling people it is safe, it is healthy, and spreading misinformation that has a very good chance of harming you. Now, the truth is, you could follow this fad and you could live a very long, very healthy, very happy life. And I hope you do, regardless of whether or not you follow this fad. But the truth is, there are people who smoke cigarettes their whole life and live very long, very happy, very healthy lives. There are people who don't wear seatbelts their entire life and live very long, very healthy, very happy lives. But large-scale data tells us that smoking cigarettes and not wearing your seatbelt are two very dangerous things that could have a very negative impact on your life and your health. So I don't think anyone can definitively say this fad or this diet or this workout is going to cause a heart attack or is going to cause cancer or is going to kill you, but we have enough data to know that this fad is very dangerous for the vast majority of people. So with that out of the way, in my opinion, the most dangerous fitness fad in 2024 is the carnivore diet. Now, depending on who you ask, there are many ways to follow the carnivore diet. I'm specifically talking about basically eliminating fiber from your diet, not having any fruits, not having any vegetables, not having any nuts or seeds, and mainly focusing just on meat. And before anyone freaks out and says that I'm saying meat is bad for you, that is not the case at all. Meat has many, many health benefits. But when your diet is almost solely or entirely made up of meat at the expense of everything else, that is unbelievably dangerous. Now, before I go into why it's dangerous, there are many people who do the carnivore diet and report improved health status in various health markers, and I want to discuss that briefly. Many people, when they begin the carnivore diet, especially if they're starting at a very high body fat percentage, they lose a lot of weight. And that's not surprising because they're reducing their calorie intake dramatically. They're cutting out all carbs. They're cutting out all processed foods. They are dramatically reducing their caloric intake, and they lose a lot of body fat. And when you lose a lot of body fat, your health markers are going to improve. So if you take someone who's very overweight and loses a lot of body fat through following the carnivore diet in a brief period of time, their health might actually improve as a result of following the carnivore diet. My concern is, number one, what happens if they continue with the carnivore diet for many months and years down the road? Not to mention the potential issues that come from the mindset of feeling like you need to remove all carbs and all processed foods, and if you do include them, God forbid, then it must mean that you're unhealthy and you ruin your diet. What happens with your relationship with food and potential disordered eating habits as a result of that? Other people report improved health benefits with the carnivore diet from skin issues like psoriasis or eczema, and oftentimes this is because the carnivore diet is essentially an elimination diet where you are only eating meat and you might be removing some foods from your diet that could be causing potential issues, either gut issues or skin issues or other issues. So when you remove them from your diet, all of a sudden you feel better, especially in the short term. Again, my concern being, what if you continue to follow this for a long time? What other health issues might crop up as a result of it? And what if you just removed the things that were causing those issues, the eczema, the psoriasis, the gut issues, and added back in other foods that weren't causing those issues so you could have a more balanced approach? So now that we understand there are some people who might be experiencing some benefits from carnivore, especially in the short term, I do want to talk about why I think it's so dangerous, especially in a long-term perspective. For me, the number one issue with carnivore is the complete elimination of fiber. Now, I know many carnivore proponents will say that you don't need fiber and it's not important, but I promise you they have no clue what they are talking about. And you believing them is incredibly, incredibly dangerous because we have an overwhelming amount of data showing us how important fiber is for our long-term health and longevity. And maybe the people you follow doing and promoting carnivore, might show you a study from PubMed showing how fiber isn't important, but I promise you, if you don't understand the totality of research that we've been provided as a whole over years and years and years from the research community, the overwhelming preponderance of research is showing us that fiber is essential for your health and longevity. And I'm not saying that fiber is going to prevent cancer. I'm not saying that fiber is going to prevent you from having a heart attack. I'm not saying that fiber is a miracle food that's going to make you live forever. It's not. But I am saying that a lack of fiber is going to radically increase your risk of many issues, including something like colon cancer. And when you combine that with high consumption of meat and next to no fiber, you are unnecessarily radically increasing your risk of colon cancer and other issues down the road. And that is why I am making this video, because I don't want you to have those issues. And my fear is that people on social media who are well-meaning and just looking for a solution to their problems are believing people who are putting out information regarding carnivore diet, when the reality is it is radically increasing their risk of an earlier death, radically increasing their risk of having cancer, radically increasing their risk of a heart attack, having high blood pressure, heart disease. This is my main concern. Now, there are many other vitamins and minerals that you will likely be deficient on if you are being true carnivore. Vitamin C, magnesium, many other vitamins and minerals. And the truth is, you could supplement with them to make up for that. But my question is, if you are blessed enough to live in a first world country and have access to all of these different foods, why do you think that following a diet that requires you to supplement so you are not deficient in essential nutrients and minerals and vitamins, why do you think that's a good idea? There's a reason your body needs them, and you don't need to get them from supplements. You can eat them in an overall healthy, balanced diet that doesn't exclude anything and have much better health outcomes. With all that in mind, on social media, we often only see the success stories. I want to take a moment to share with you some stories of people who've done carnivore who did not have success stories. And I think these are equally, if not more important. Now, there's an entire Instagram page called Carnivore Cringe that you can go to. I don't personally like the name, but that's what it's called, in which people who are following or who have followed the carnivore diet share their terrible experiences with it that you wouldn't see from someone who is promoting the carnivore diet. We have people who are reporting bleeding gums from following the carnivore diet, which is likely due to being deficient in vitamin C. We have people whose blood pressure is skyrocketing. We have people who they are not able to poop at all, which is a major issue and could be one of the major leading causes of getting colon cancer as a result of not having enough fiber. There are so many stories of people, regular, everyday people, who are trying to follow this diet because someone on social media told them that it is the quick fix to their issues, who are experiencing urgent medical problems as a result of following it. Now, at this point, especially if you don't follow me or haven't seen my work before, you're probably wondering, what's my recommendation? What do I think is the quick fix? What do I think is the most optimal and healthy diet? And the truth is, there isn't one optimal or one single healthiest diet. There are some clues that research has found. I'm going to give you these in a second. But if we look at the longest living populations in the world, we look at people in Japan, we look at people in Italy, we look at people in Sweden, we look all across the world at the longest living populations in Greece, for example. All of these populations have very different diets. They don't follow the same one, and they are among the top longest living populations in the world. And it's not just because of diet, it's also lifestyle factors as well, and many other factors. But this shows us that diet doesn't have to be one. It doesn't have to be a single approach for everybody. For me, the most important components of a healthy diet is, number one, mostly whole, minimally processed foods. I would love for you to get a lot of protein in. I have no problem with you getting a lot of protein in. I have no problem with you having red meat. I have no problem with you having fish. I have no problem with you having chicken or eggs. None of that. I love it. Cottage cheese, Greek yogurt, they're all wonderful. I also have no problem with beans or lentils or legumes. Research shows us those are wonderful. I have no problem with carbohydrates, whether it's bread or pasta or cereal or rice or potatoes, they're all okay. I have no problem with fat, avocado, eggs, nuts, seeds, olive oils, no issue. I think a good diet incorporates all of them in moderation. I think focusing on fiber is one of the most important and overlooked things that you could possibly do in your nutritional journey. And despite what all these carnivore people are telling you, fiber is unbelievably important for your health. I wish people would know this, please, for the love of God. We are seeing more and more rates of colon cancer, especially in men, but in women too. It used to be people not getting their colonoscopies until 45 or 50. Now it's going down to 40 and then 35. And soon enough, 30-year-olds are going to be needing to get colonoscopies because they're not getting enough fiber. And combine that with excess protein or excess meat, it's not a good situation over the long term. I want you to eat foods that you enjoy, and I also want you to eat foods that might not be considered healthy. I want you to have treats. Now, I don't want you to necessarily have them all day, every day, but if you can't have a couple slices of pizza at your daughter's birthday party without feeling guilty, without feeling like a failure, that's not healthy. Especially in a world and day and age now, which thank God people are realizing mental health is part of health. If you don't have good mental health around food, if you don't have a good relationship with food, if you can't enjoy a slice of pizza or have some candy or what have you without feeling guilty and shaming yourself and without trying to fast for 72 hours afterwards, that's not a healthy relationship with food. I don't just want you to think about how it's impacting your health. I want you to think about how it's impacting the health of everyone around you. If you're a parent and you have kids and they're watching you and they're seeing how you are in terms of, oh my God, I can't have that food. That food's bad. Is that how you want your child to grow up? Is that how you want them to have a relationship with food when they're older, so that they are fearful of having candy? They're fearful of having a slice of cake at their birthday party? Is that really how you want to leave an impact on your children, their children, the people around you? I would hope it's not what you want. Again, I'm gonna say this, if you decide to follow the carnivore diet, I have no problems with that. One of my best friends in the world, David, he follows the carnivore diet. He knows how I feel about it. Again, he's one of my best friends in the world. And I'll tell him that I don't think it's healthy. I don't say it every meal. If he asks me my thoughts, I'll gladly give it to him. And he'll probably see this video because he watches my content. And we're still gonna be best friends. I don't have a problem with someone because of the diet that they choose to have. I just think it is my responsibility to tell what I believe the truth to be. And that's what this video is for. And I believe with every ounce of my heart and soul that as of right now, based on the current data and research, the carnivore diet is the most dangerous fitness trend in 2024. And I would urge you to not try and do it for a long period of time. If you want to give it a shot for a short period of time just to see, go for it. But I would not recommend it. And I wouldn't encourage anyone to follow it for a very long period of time based on all of the knowledge and all of the research that we have to date. I hope that made sense. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you don't already. And if you would like help with your own fat loss, I have a free calorie calculator. This is gonna show you how many calories and how much protein you need to eat every day to have a sustainable, healthy, enjoyable rate of fat loss. It's very simple. It's not easy, but it is very simple. And if you don't know how many calories you should eat, I have a free calorie calculator for you. The link is in the description. Have a wonderful week. I'll talk to you soon.